It was the early 80s. I got a job with US Air, and the first year after I worked, you get a week's vacation. I took that week and I flew to Hong Kong. I'd never been anywhere outside of the US. That was the first time actually I left the country. I get there and I don't know anyone, and I'm wandering the streets. It's all new. The smells, the sights, everything is new to me. So I just started going to different restaurants. I'd ask hotel clerks if they knew where the films were being made, film companies, and someone had told me about Golden Harvest and Shaw Brothers Studios. So I ventured forth to the Shaw Brothers Studio first, and when I get to the gate, there's a bunch of old security guards, Chinese gentlemen, and they wouldn't let me pass. And I'm trying to explain to them, hey, this is what I want to do, but they don't really understand me at all. I didn't really have a firm grasp of the language. So I decided to, at that point, I went to Golden Harvest. I figured, Golden Harvest at that time, they weren't as big as Shaw Brothers, so to speak. Shaw Brothers was known throughout the world. Golden Harvest was more or less known for Jackie Chan. He was the market for that particular company. So I went to Golden Harvest, and at Golden Harvest, I met a guy. His name was Paul Chang. His name is Chung Hong Yip, his Chinese name. And he introduced me to another person, Chu Chi Ling. Chu Chi Ling, in turn, he played in Bruce Lee, The Man in the Myth. He, in turn, tried to manage me. He thought that it was unusual that a black guy would want to come all the way to Asia and be in movies. So he kind of tried to guide my career along, but really nothing transpired. Now, mind you, I only had a week vacation to pull all this off, but I managed to make a few contacts. But after that week, nothing substantial, so I end up going back to America, back to my job at US Air. I was willing to toil away for another year until I got another year's vacation. This particular year, I got 2 weeks. I went back to Hong Kong. And my parents thought I was crazy by doing this, I mean, every vacation you get, it's like you work all year long just to save your money to do this 2-week venture or this 1-week venture or however long you have. So I said, well, this is how it has to be. This is what I want, My parents, they didn't discourage me, but they just thought it was unusual. So I decided to go back to America, worked at US Air for another year, got to 2 weeks, came back to Hong Kong. When I came back to Hong Kong the second time, still the same stuff. Meet people, nothing substantial. I guess because of the time frame that I was there, maybe I would luck up and see a production, maybe I wouldn't. I go back to the United States, back to US Air, and work another year. So I'm in my third year now at US Air. That particular year, they were laying people off, and I smelled a layoff coming for myself because I didn't have high seniority. So I said, I'm going to get out of here, and what I did is I asked for my vacation weeks all up front for the upcoming year, and I asked for the advanced vacation pay. And at the time, I prepared a letter of resignation. So it was sort of like a plan that I was going to get all 3 weeks vacation, the money, send a letter of resignation, and just stay in Asia. That was the goal. That was it. So I did just that. I went there and went to Hong Kong, managed to stay. And at that point, Paul was there, Paul Chang. And he said, well, you want to do this? He's like, I'll do whatever I can to help you. That particular evening, he told me to meet him at the Nico Hotel. I met him at the Nico Hotel, and who walks in the door but Cheng Kun Tai. Cheng Kun Tai was a famous Shaw Brothers alumni, and 20 minutes later, David Chang walks in, another Shaw Brothers alumni, and I'm flabbergasted because I've never met these guys before, and I said, wow, this is pretty unique here. Then Paul tells me that there's another person coming, and I say, well, who is it? He wouldn't tell me. Next thing you know, Sammo Hung walks through the lobby, and he comes and sits down. I asked Sammo, I said, I want to become a member of some organizations in Hong Kong. Maybe that's where the strength lies, I just don't want to be a regular Joe Schmo. I want to become members of organizations. So at the time, there was the Honk Kong Stuntman Association. And I told Sammo I wanted to get in that. Pooh, he laughed. I'm like, well, what are you laughing at? I mean, I want to be a Hong Kong stuntman, you know, a legitimate one. I saw all the Hong Kong guys that had their Hong Kong stuntman's card, you know. He's like, well, the only way you can actually become a Hong Kong stuntman is to have 3 Hong Kong action directors sign for you, quality Hong Kong action directors sign for you to become a member. So he's like, and I'm not signing for you. So I said, okay, this will be an uphill battle. So during one particular scene in Don't Give a Damn, there's a scene where I have to do a 100-yard dash, jump over a fence, land 13 feet down on the ground, continue running into the back of a moving car, and it scared the hell out of me, excuse me. It really did, just the whole concept of this being one complete take. And Sammo said, if you can do this in one complete take, I'll sign for you. Now, I had a number of friends over there at the time. In fact, one of my friends was a very prolific director as well. His name was Lau Ka Wing. That's Lau Ka Leong, the gentleman who was the action coordinator for a lot of the early Shaw Brother pieces. Very famous. And also Yuen Biao. Yuen Biao was there. And they both agreed. I said, well, look, Sammo's going to sign for me if I do this stunt. Now, I'm scared as hell because I've never handled a stunt that big, and it was long. We had 100 feet of track in the middle of the street, which proved to me it was going to be a one-shot deal. So Sammo said, you do this, I'll sign for you. And then I had Lau Ka Wing. He said he would sign for me, and Yuen Biao. He said he would sign for me. I said, great. I said, all I got to do is pull this off, and I'll be in an organization. Hell or high water. 4 takes, that's all it took. But I had that much determination to do this particular stunt. And after I did the stunt, Sammo was like, whoa, he actually did it. And the minute I finished, I took the paper that I got from the Hong Kong Stuntman Association. I said, sign it. And he signed it. Yuen Biao signed it. And Lau Ka Wing, he was laughing the whole time. He's like, Sammo kept telling me you couldn't do it. He kept saying you couldn't do it. I said, I told you I could. And he signed as well. So then another action director was there at the time. His name was Cho Wing. We all know him from Bury Me High and In the Line of Duty. He signed as well. He was like, don't take 3 in here. Take 4. Show him you're somebody. And so I'm laughing. And so I became a Hong Kong stuntman. Actually, the first black man actually inducted into the Hong Kong Stuntmen's Association. I wouldn't stop there. I told Sammo I wanted to be part of other organizations in Hong Kong. So he in turn took me to meet Eric Chang, very popular figure in the movie industry over there. And Eric signed for me to be an Asia Sports Star Association member, which is another guild. Then I enrolled and became a member of the Hong Kong Performance Artists Guild. So there were a number of film groups that I belonged to in Hong Kong, which gave me instant clout when it came to talking to producers and directors for future projects. You know, the fact that I was a member of these guilds, someone gave me carte blanche in essence. But very, very interesting. I appreciate everything that Sammo did for me. At that particular time, Sammo and I had decided that, okay, wow, I've starred you in a movie. I've featured you in a movie. Yuen Woo Ping has featured you. You've started your G7 in there. Alfred Chung has gave you a unique opportunity. What do you want to do from this point? And I'll never forget that. We were at the airport one day picking up his youngest son who was coming in from, I think it was somewhere down south. Excuse me. And he said, what do you want to do? You want to stay here or do you want to go back? I said, you know, I really want to stay, but there's really not much more I can do here, I don't think. I said, the only thing I can really do at this point is stay until I play myself out, until the casting directors and the directors don't want to have anything to do with me, until I've burnt my fuse. I think I'll leave now, at the height, right now. That's the best time to leave. Don't leave when you're faltering and your roles get lower. Leave right now. So he was like, yeah, that's a smart move. He was like, I'll support you in any way you want. So I got a ticket and I came back to America. I hadn't seen my mother or anybody in years. So that was another reason why I wanted to come back. I wanted to see my family, you know, and that being away from them for so long. And they were, of course, very worried about me because they hadn't heard from me. And one particular incident happened while I was there, actually before I left. Sammo, Yuen Woo, myself, D Long, Simon Yam, we were all invited to the first China International Film Festival. The first film festival opened in China. Kirk Wong was also a guest, and I represented Hong Kong. I was stunned that I would be offered an opportunity to go there and represent like that, a Western guy. So we all boarded a plane, and it was magnificent. When we got off the plane, there was a line of 200 wushu students with flowers, and there were limos at the end, and I'm like, my God, what's going on here? So we go to the Chinese film festival, and at the film festival, a mainland director, I forget his name at the time, he said, you know, I've seen your student, he says this is him, I've seen your student's work. Do you think that we could use him in a mainland production? And Sam was like, no, he's going back to America. And at first I started to use up his authority and say, no, I can do it. But then I said, no, this man has guided me up until this point. Why would I even take a chance? If he said no, we had agreed upon that I would leave, go back to America. So that's where it left. Turned the film roll down. So on the ride back from Zhuhai China Film Festival, I got deathly ill. I don't know what exactly it was. Maybe it was the scorpions we were eating up in mainland China. Maybe, I don't know. Last I heard they were kind of poisonous, but I could be wrong. But deathly ill. I got toxic poisoning, and I had to be hospitalized. Now, at that point, Sammo's wife and myself, we were the same age, and we got along very well, you know, very good friends. She's like a sister to me. And I was rushed to the hospital, and I almost died. They had no heart rhythm, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me, right? And Sammo, he actually is crying and upset because when I actually came to Hong Kong, him and Mina told my mother and my family that I would be living with them and they would take care of me and no harm would befall me. Here I am, lying up in the hospital, almost dead. My mother, they wanted to come out to Hong Kong and see me because they didn't know what was going on. Mina and Sammo, they were both so worried that I was going to pass away or whatever. But Sammo imported some doctors from Canada to see me, which was, I couldn't believe this. This man is incredible. And these specialists Western specialists came, and they found out exactly what was wrong with me. Apparently I had a reaction to toxic food poisoning up in mainland China, and something in my body just didn't jive with it, and it caused me to have a heart attack somewhat, yeah. But about a month I had to stay, longer than what I wanted to. And after that, I got on a plane, and Sammo said, you head on back to America. And from that point on, I started to pursue a career here in the United States. My plans for the future. Right now, I'm working on a number of projects in development. I have an offer for a film coming up from Mandalay / DreamWorks, a film with Nick Quested. It's called Kung Fu Theater. It's about a comic book artist who gets thrown into a kung fu movie. Lots of laughs there. It's still in development, so that should be out late 2002, early 2003, and I look forward to that. Outside of that, I'm still working in the music videos, directing, keeping my name out there, and just trying to stay afloat.